Yo. Allô, allô. Thanks, if I can if I can be with you, no one will. Thank you. Hello. Bonjour. Coffee, of course. Yeah, me too. I get like heart palpitations from it. If you keep drinking coffee, it doesn't. Mm. How was the run? It was kind of painful. I had like a big cramp for first half of it because I've been running every day. Mm. Thanks, chill time. Mhm. Yeah, I've been running every day, 5K, and I hope my I don't get injured. I want to keep it up for a while. So yeah, I tried it a couple months ago, running 10K a day, but that was too much. Keep it up. Oh yeah, no, it's isn't that a compliment? Keep it up. Just say thanks, I guess. I used to work in a coffee shop for everything. Like I did all my professional work there. So I think I got the most possible, all the possible combinations of comments. The the one that gets me is where, and it happened with a client, like I was drawing storyboards for them, and he also saw my personal work or my character design work, and yeah, he started like giving suggestions of how how he would build my career if he was me. It's like you could do like portraits of. It was kind of fantasizing what I had to do with my skills. And it was like very, kind of naive, dumb suggestions. It's like you should do a comic kind of. You should do a comic kind of comments. You draw so good. You could like draw a comic. Usurper? No, no, no. She thought I was some kind of war freak, not a Nazi. But she was cool. She's my friend now. She also saw me draw like American soldiers and stuff. I kind of kept the Nazi when I was doing the Nazi stuff, the the soldiers for the German team. I usually just put my yeah. I took like I positioned my screen so people couldn't see it. But I actually switched because I was working in coffee shops at the time. And I actually had to switch my bar because there was this one guy, he also was like a World War II nut, and he just come back, he just wanted to see everything I was drawing. So I had to switch my workplace. Mm. Oh, he was stealing his videos or something. No way, people still use Photoshop. A lot of people still use Photoshop. I guess it's cheaper to move to the other softwares now. Mm. No, I don't use gloves because I don't really sweat that much on my hands. Um, except today because it's a heat wave. And it gives me strange vibes when I use it. I don't have it, but makes me think of the art glove that there once was this digital artist who used this art glove. He had this like a glove with his pens in. Uh, if I can't, don't go on TikTok then. Do not go on TikTok. It's crazy. Like, since it's like taken over by 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, all the big, uh, all the big art accounts are super bad, like quality wise. I'm not saying they don't have any entertainment value, but the art advice is so bad because most like professional artists have ignored that that medium because it has the name for being for immature kids doing dances. But as a result, there's the art accounts on there, the ones that have a million followers. Yeah, they're not very good. Mhm. Hello. Yeah, I have a TikTok account just for the fact like you can't really ignore such a big social media site. So I'm kind of slowly growing a page on there. I usually just put process videos of these kinds of sketches on there with very minimal editing. It's just a time lapse. Usually, it doesn't take much time to make. I don't really like making like talking on it. Maybe that's for later. Yeah, art YouTube. It's still pretty bad. But it's a mix between entertainment value and art advice. So if you have art, a quality art teacher, it's a bit niche. It's not necessarily if you go through a lecture of how to draw, it might actually be like slightly boring. For a average viewer, you need a certain level of passion for art to sit through uh, like a serious art lecture. So the quality ones often they're not even that popular, and people are drawn to the like more cookie cutter stuff. Like, here's 10 art tips to improve your work, that kind of stuff. Well, there's only one art tip, and it's like draw. the, the most important one. Um, Yeah, you kind of need the your 10,000 hours in. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, stuff like Proko is pretty like that guy is pretty has a pretty good channel. Like it covers everything, you need to know basically. Um, feel like it might be a bit too acad it's quite academic. But it's yeah, you know, it's solid, right? It's built on a solid system. So mm, and one. Oh, you one probably. And one. Yeah, I really need to make a character design course. I think it would do pretty well. Those algorithms are crazy. There's like this guy Ryan Lang on Twitter, and his stuff is so good. But then, or for example, I'll give you an example. So you have Evan Amundsen. You guys know him, right? And he's on Twitter, and he posts stuff almost every day. Uh, for some reason, like he's been at 20K for for so long. Meanwhile, I started, when he was at 21K and I was at like 10K, I just shot past him. And I honestly don't understand. He posts nearly every day, and I was also posting every day. I just shot past him to 102K, like crazy, and I can't get it. I think it's the algorithm doing that. I don't want to downplay downplay my stuff or say it's worse or anything. I mean, but he has the kind of art that should, definitely warrant around that number, right? But it's for some reason when he posts, it doesn't give that much traction. I think it's strange. And the guy Ryan Lang is the same. He's posting like fan art, Star Wars paintings. He's worked on it, you know, and he gets like 60 likes on it. Like, even though he has uh, like, look at this. He has 50,000 followers, and then his paintings get 67 likes. Like, how is that possible? I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? 60,000 followers. And then this stuff, which is pretty cool, it's like process. It's quite detailed, It's popular stuff. And it's so consistent, like so much. And then it doesn't get any response. Like, how? Mhm. Yeah, on ArtStation on Instagram, his stuff does great. But then on Twitter, it doesn't. Or if you look at another example, what's her name? Like, like this is an interesting example. Like this artist, Elisa Ivanova, she has, I guess, like almost, she probably is going to 1 million on Instagram. But when she posts her stuff here, it gets one like, because she's reposting stuff and linking to Instagram. There's no, there's no traction on Instagram because Instagram probably throttles Instagram links like crazy because it's competition. Look, it's like 1, 2, 7, 6, 1. So I tried to make a comment to her, like she should post this stuff directly to Twitter, but I don't think she does this herself. I think she might have like an assistant or some automatic program that does it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're kind of stuck with those, working with those algorithms. I mean, it's not important for you as a person, but I'm not gonna deny it. It works pretty well. Like, it helps. It helps to get job offers and make money even. For example, on days I make a popular, if I make a popular Twitter post, and popular means like this hand drawing post I once made, I'll make like 200 euro in a day on Gumroad selling my brushes. If I don't, it's more like, I don't know, uh like 16 dollars or something. But if I make like, if there's a viral post and I don't have that many, like often, it can be like 200 one day, then 100, then it goes like down, like you start like 200, $300, 200, 100, and then it can give like $50 for like a week, and you make basically that post made you $500 in Gumroad sales, basically. I mean, my store is very basic, and I can do a lot more to monetize my art in that regard, but I'm kind of taking it slow on the I haven't made any new products in a long time. My son isn't that interested in drawing, though. He kind of hates. No, he doesn't hate it. He has his moments where he likes it. But my son has very little patience. So he draws super fast. And he likes drawing like aliens. Alien from Alien movie. He draws it kind of like he draws something like this. You know, I can't really. I can't really do it. It actually looks pretty good, but Peachkins, yeah, if you buy the brush, you get that one with it, the page. It's just a scanned moleskin. How old is this Photoshop file? Very old. Yeah, let me show you. So yeah, it's kind of like a digital sketchbook. So each of these drawings can take, like maybe, I kind of use a lot of layers per drawing, so maybe like, you know, 40, 50 per, or sometimes it's just 10 or something. Brush bundle, yeah, it's also in the just a pencil brush if you don't want to if you don't need all of them. But the pencil brush has this one, has a bunch of process videos uh, of animal drawings. Yeah, so every time I do a drawing, I flatten the layers. But yeah, I use the layers kind of as a, undo state, right? So not this one, but it's like let's say I don't like this stuff I drew here. I can just delete this layer and restart. Did you ever collab with Proco? I just did a like a benefit, uh, like a drawing benefit with him for Ukraine. So I just spent some. I made this drawing here, this here, on his stream, and I answered some questions. Um, have a problem with your PC or Photoshop and the lines are weirdly wobbly. Um, so sometimes that's because you didn't update Windows and you didn't update, sometimes your Wacom driver is up to date, but your Windows isn't. Sometimes it's a bitch. I know. I remember having some Wacom problems, and it was because my computer wasn't hadn't been updated. Since the Wacom drivers, you know they intertwine with the Windows software, so they both need to be updated. Um, but yeah, sometimes I can't help you. My Wacom is laggy without the cable. Yeah, that can happen. Hmm. Why so many recovered? Because I had a computer problem which kept crashing. How can I practice values is good during sketches? Um, yeah, things values look dirty because often you don't have a good value structure and you don't have good how do we say um, you're using values um, for example, you're using dark values in a place where there's light. There can only be light values. For example, in this phase, everything is very light, right? And if I start using dark values in here, that instantly looks off, right? So you gotta make sure you're working in the correct, like um, yeah, with a correct value structure. And there's this head you can practice basically the Asaro head. um, yeah, you can do studies from this phase basically to learn uh, that value structure. um, for example, I have this blender file, because if you don't have money to buy one of those heads, you can use this uh, yeah, for example, this thing here. So you can change up the lighting. I already forgot how to use it. Yeah, for example, you can just change the lighting on it. And then I can practice. It's Blender. So yeah, if you mess up in your value structure, then it will look, using too dark values all over, right? Then things are not gonna look like look that good. So yeah, in this more structured study, you can kind of see. First thing you need to do is, you gotta separate the light from the light from the shadow, right? So all of these little shapes is the shadow, right? So that's your first step, is separate light from shadow. So you kind of need to try and analyze your reference and see, okay, which is the shadow, which is the light. If you draw stuff just with black and white, like Mike Mignola does, you can already make a very, very solid drawing without any shading at all, right? But then the reason why shadow isn't always full black is because there's stuff reflecting back in it, right? So the light and the shadow, they both have different light sources, basically, right? The light source in the shadow is just a reflected light, and then, it's not a separate light source, but it's being lit by the environment, basically by reflected light in the environment. Mike Mignola, yeah, he basically paints with light. He doesn't really draw like a traditional comic book artist who uses, sometimes uses line um, in a just like a, yeah, they don't draw like Mike Mignola does. He just, selects, you know sh- uh, planes to make it black. Okay, a lot of comic book artists, they do that, but I think he's very special in that. um so yeah, then, when you're rendering when you're doing form rendering, everything kind of, the more it's turned toward the light source, the lighter it is, right? So you kind of need to know, yeah, something can be angled. Like, let's say you have a light source here, you have a couple of planes, right? And you can see the light rays like this, you know all these planes are gonna be in the light, right? But the more the plane is angled toward your light source, even this plane, right, would be in the light, but this plane here would be the lightest, right? And then this would be darker, darker. This one would be even darker than these two, right? So these two, A, B, C, D, E. So plane A and C would be about, would be some kind of mid-tone gray, would be pretty light. It would be, quite light. D would still be in the light, but it would be, a step darker than A and C. And then E would be in shadow, right? And would be, if you would have a value scale like this, right? E, and this is black. Sorry, black. This is white, right? Then A, B, C, and D would be somewhere here. A, B, C, D, and then E would be somewhere over there, right? So the values of the shadow, they're like a separate world. They're always separated from the values in the light. The reason, so like the reason why something is lighter, because it's more angled towards the light source, right? So for example, in this phase here, this is shadow, right? So that would be E, value E from here. And then this plane here is still in the light. So that would be like D, right? And then A would be like this white part. And then in here, there would be the gradation towards D, basically. So if you have a head like this, right? This entire part here is what I would say is in the light. It's not shadow. So all you're seeing is form shadow, right? And I'm kind of rendering towards this, these highlights, right? So everything is going to that point. And it depends on, right? So and then there's an edge here, for example. So you're kind of going from edge to edge uh, towards that point that's pointed towards the light source the most. So for example, here, all this stuff, this would be shadow, right? So that doesn't follow, that's getting its light from somewhere else. This part is getting its light from somewhere else. This part here, all these little shapes, that's where the shadow is, right? All this shadow, and then all the rest is light, right? I'm not gonna say I'm the best renderer. I'm not a 3D engine, I kind of wing it also, right? um, Another thing is you don't need to take a light source that's on top, right? I often take a light source that's kind of, in front of the character, right? Because then I don't need to, I can have the highlight kind of like in the middle of stuff, right? And it kind of makes things, yeah, it makes the form read easier. Right, for example, in this character, I have the light source somewhere in front of him, right? So then I don't need to have like a big white patch on the top of his head, which I feel like it's a lot of work to make that angle feel 3D. And if you take a light source that's more in the front, then it takes less work to make it read read like it has volume. And the cool thing is, once you understand stuff, you can kind of start manipulating form, any way you like, basically. And you can even, like, for example, yeah, what was I? Maybe it just goes a bit off track a bit, but for example, if you have a nose like this, right? You can often solve stuff when you think about the profile. Um, let's say this guy here, I'm just gonna draw some kind of profile, something like this. So if you want this guy to have a longer nose, for example, right? Um, so the light source is going like this, and this casting a shadow, right? Um, but for example, if you want to give him a longer nose, something like this, then the result would be that this cast shadow would become longer, right? So by thinking of the profile, you can often solve stuff for the front view. Or if his chin is actually receding like this, right? It would mean that it disappears in shadow completely, right? If this is the angle of the light. So that means that in the front view, you would just have this in shadow completely. And probably, little less pronounced, right? But let's say the chin goes like this, right? Then suddenly a part of the chin here, the top, will be in the light, and you'll have like a bright patch there, right? So that's what you need to think about. Uh, that's how you can manipulate and control what you're actually drawing, right? So it's for everything. Like if you have a lip that goes like this, you know, this lip will be quite bright. But if the lip goes like this, right? Let's say the angle of the light is this. In this case, this lip would be a step, this kind of lip, the top here, you know, this area, right? This area here is this, right? Like in this case, that area would be quite bright, and then in this, if the profile file is like this, it would be a step darker, right? You just take, then it would be just like you know, you need a bit of value there, right? Without making it look like a mustache. But so this is a lip that's going down like this, and if you go back, that's a lip that's, you know, going like that. Mhm. So for example, the nose, right? If you have a hooked nose like this, you would need to make all of this a lot grayer, right? This part. And then the top would be lighter, right? If you would have a nose that goes like this, then it would be kind of the opposite. Then you would have the bright part in the front, you know, like a ice skating rink. You know, if you have this, then this part would be angled way more towards the light source, right? And this part would be still in the light, but it would be quite a step darker. And darker means, it doesn't mean you need to start adding values that belong to the shadow, right? It's just a mid-tone that you're looking for, right? Now you can see it's starting to appear that it's like a hooked nose. See that? I for an artist of your caliber, do you think it's more profitable to create a course or upload on YouTube? I think YouTube is more like a long game, uh, which requires a lot of dedication. So it has more potential, but it will, you know, you need to, if you want a YouTube channel, you need to go for it, or it won't make any, you know, won't make that much money. If you make a course, you can just use the social media platforms you're popular on to get revenue from it. So in my case, you know, I'll probably be better idea to just sell a course than to start a YouTube channel with, because I have YouTube, but you know, like it has maybe a thousand people on there. I had it since forever, and there's basically nothing on there. But people still find it. What to do with his head? Yeah, I worked on Borderlands. Bye bye. See you. Need to give this guy something. What about some big scar? Horror gamer, yeah. That's how it works. You ever work with any traditional mediums? Yeah, sure. But mostly it's for sketching. Stuff like, yeah, ballpoint pen and pencil. Yeah, true. That's all you need to do. Get the right brushes. Hey, thanks, Igor. Not a fan, just like this. Kind of cool. Thanks, Ravi. Uh, Thanks. Oh no, what did I do? Okay, I gotta go. So that's the sketch. Yeah, it feels quite smooth, I think. I really love it to work with it. Okay, we gotta go. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Igor. Take care. Bye bye.